Hi. A few years ago, when I was recently divorced, I thought I might be interested in meeting some new people. So I went on Match. And this fellow contacted me. I didn't really think that it was going to go anywhere. But he was a surgeon and he lived in frigging North Dakota and had a plane and really wanted to come out and show me a good time. So I really did try to dissuade him, but he insisted on coming and getting me to give him a chance, and so he did. Now here's the thing, he was a Republican. So what do you think a Republican's idea of a good time is? Well, it's going to a shooting range. So all in good sport, I went. I don't mind shooting at targets. I didn't like that it was a target outline of a man. I certainly wouldn't shoot at animals, but I did, and I was pretty good at it. And at the end of it all, there were all these casings on the floor, and I thought, well, I wonder if that can be used somehow, somewhere. And so I kept them for years. And guess what? Just recently, just a few weeks ago, I used them. They were in a nice little, container, like he'd helped me pick them up very graciously. And I used them in an art piece. And it's one of my favorite art pieces ever. It has to do with difficult relationships, of all things. And so anyway, that all turned out well because I got a great artwork out of it. So getting back to what my idea of a great night out is: a nice summer evening, and a good friend has an opening, and he's like me, he's my age, multiple degrees in art, and then put it aside for a career and something else related. He did graphic design and I did interior design, but now is our time to focus on art. And he had a one-person show at a good gallery. And so I am so happy for him. I would love to have the same thing myself. But anyway, I went along and I knew that my cupboard was bare because, well, I didn't have any food in any plans to fix something for myself when I got home. And so I thought, well, maybe I'll go out to dinner with friends that I run into, or maybe I'll have to pick up some carry out on the way home. Then the other concern was finding a parking space, because this is a notoriously difficult neighborhood to find a parking space in. But guess what? There was one right in front of the gallery. So I pulled into it, waltzed on in, got a glass of wine, and guess what again? There was a whole table laden with all kinds of wonderful heavy hors d'oeuvres. So this was dinner. And the area restaurants they do this occasionally, and I just lucked out. They'll prepare these things and put them out at the various galleries. So I was set, and I ran into a good friend that I usually go to musical events with, or French events. Those are our main topics of outings. But in fact, I met her 45 years ago in an art gallery. And I told her, and she was with a couple of friends, and I said, well, I am going to be in this gallery myself in a group show next month. And I'm very excited about that. Well, in fact, that morning, I had picked up these pieces from a fellow that has helped me with woodworking aspects of my pieces, because he's got power equipment and all that. I got home, got to my studio, and come to find out, I don't know, understand, I said 16 inches by 16 inches, and it was 1/8 of an inch off on all sides, so that's not acceptable, because the parameters of the show were to be 16 by 16. And then there was another piece that was kind of warped. I had to knock things apart, and I managed to fix it myself. I was able to correct the problem and fix it, and It wasn't a big deal. You know, it had kind of thrown me off in the morning, but it was a happy ending. And then I went to another gallery that was open and had wine and food. And there, the gallerist engaged me in conversation, and we know each other, but we talked about visiting each other's homes and studios. He's an artist as well. That was a good thing. So I was manifesting, I think. I was manifesting and just putting it out to the world that Renee will get her own one-person comprehensive retrospective show for the first time in her life. That's what I would like before I die. And I am working on it. I've been having, I've been active and showing in group shows. It's just all coming together. So this was a stellar night, and saw lots of old friends. And anyway, on the way home, I thought, well, now since I've had dinner, a little dessert would be nice. Do I have anything at home? No. So I pulled over to this ice cream shop, but they only had cones, and I just didn't feel like a cone. I felt more of like a sundae. And so I had to go into a grocery store and buy some ice cream. And so I got home and I had a great, great little sundae. And next, my entertainment was to watch YouTube classical pianists playing the same pieces that I've been playing. And I learn and observe from them about how to improve my own and give it my own personal expression. It's not just like you take a piece of music and play the notes, and you cannot possibly just copy someone else's playing. That would be like copying a masterpiece. It might look close, but unless you're an excellent forger, you really can't do that. And it's impossible to do with music, because you can't even look at it the whole time. It's over instantly with each note. So I was just loving it, and I felt so grateful that for all the years that I've been working at playing the piano, and here, these are my two loves, my music and my art. This is a painting that I did years ago. And this is just me living my dream, and to be able to play musical pieces that concert pianists are playing. I just can't believe it. I can't believe it. And I want to share something that Lang Lang said, in case you're interested in taking up piano. Somebody asked him, what's the best age to start learning to play piano? And he said, between the age of 2 and 100. So I think you can do that. And in fact, I just learned that this guy at Steinway bought a D, which is a concert grand, 9-foot concert grand. And he's only been playing for 8 months, and he got this spectacular instrument. He said he bought a new house, and so he's got to fill it up. And I thought, well, he has got the right attitude in my book. That is the right philosophy altogether. Never too young, and he's in his 60s. So there you go. Never give up. Never give up your dreams, and you'll see that things will just start happening once you start believing that you can do it and you want to do it. So hang in there. Until next time. Bye.